Hello everyone, you are listening to Radio Today FM 89.6 and I'm Afrin Ahmed. We'll be here with you tonight. And I have a very special guest today, and he is Mr. Stephen Ibelli, Public Affairs Counselor, U.S. Embassy, Dhaka, Bangladesh. He has 18 years of experience in foreign services around the world and serving in Bangladesh for last few months. He has held public diplomacy positions in Iraq, Tunisia, Morocco, Libya, Germany, and Nigeria. We are very glad to have him today in our interview. And first, I would like to say, how are you?
Very good. কেমন আছেন?
I'm ভালো আছি.
শুভ দুপুর.
Okay. So you have picked a few Bangladeshi lines.
I mean,
so
আমি
far.
একটু বাংলা বলি.
Okay. Okay. And your last position was in Nigeria?
It was in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay. And this is a new position for you in Bangladesh, because this is a very, what I can say, it's a very upcoming country in the world that we are growing very fast.
No, absolutely. I mean, the development in the last 10 years or 15 years in Bangladesh is stunning. From what I understand, where I live, it didn't really exist 15 years ago in Bangladesh, so it's quite amazing.
Okay. As we all know that UNESCO has declared the International Radio Day on 13th February, so I would like to know from you that your insights on the current state of radio industry and the role of the satellite radio podcast and audience trends in the United States.
Wow, that's a great question, Afreen. And I have to say, I'm no expert, but radio is still an important medium in the United States. You can talk to any American, and they will always tell you about their favorite song that they heard in their car. America is a car country. We're driving everywhere. You know, if you look at the size of Bangladesh, Bangladesh is about the size of one state, Iowa. But there are 50 states. And so the size of Bangladesh is about 1.5% of the size of the United States, which means we're either flying around the United States or we are driving. And Americans love their cars. And what do you do in your car? You listen to the radio.
Yes.
So that also has a really big effect. And so satellite radio really has a big market share, because when you're in your car, when you're sitting in traffic, when you're driving to work, and almost everybody drives to work in America, you're listening to the radio, and you're listening to satellite radio. And so with satellite radio, I can drive from New York to LA, which if you did it nonstop, which you really couldn't because you couldn't sleep, would be about 3 days.
Wow, that's far.
That is far. But you would drive from New York to LA, and you could listen to the same program, the same station by satellite radio, because it doesn't change. Otherwise, you have to keep changing.
That's what my question was. Actually, in different states, they have different types of radios. So if you cross the border, if you cross the state, so the radio station doesn't change.
With satellite radio, it does not change. And there are so many genres. I mean, there's news, there's talk, there's sports. Americans love sports. There's always a sports program. And also all the different genres of music, you know, whether it's new or pop or rock. And so it's really, really, really wonderful as far as the different genres and really listening to that radio. Another really big element of radio now are podcasts.
Yes.
Of course, you can listen to them on your phone, but podcasts are kind of like radio for the internet. That's the way I think about it. Internet radio in a way. And so it's really, really amazing. When I lived in Morocco also, for example, I'm from Florida, so I would listen to a Florida radio station in Morocco through my phone. So I think it was really, 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 really quite amazing as far as the breadth and the different genres in the United States with radio. So I still remember those songs, driving in my car and listening. I still remember
anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
What's your favorite genre?
I really like rock. I really like jazz. I like alternative. So I'm pretty easy to please as far as music goes.
That's very nice. And I have seen recently that the podcast was there for a very long time, but recently it's getting more attention.
Yes.
So why do you think it's getting more attention? Because people like to what?
Yeah, no, I think you can listen on the go. And so it's convenient because you can listen to a podcast when you want to. Same thing with audiobooks. Audiobooks have taken a huge amount. Because you can listen to in your car. As I said, Americans are driving a lot.
Yeah.
I know some Americans that drive 1 hour or 2 hours to their job. And this isn't like Bangladeshi traffic. They're not sitting in traffic. They're moving.
On the go.
On the go for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I think all of that is about convenience of lifestyle. And so audiobooks or podcasts. And plus, I mean, whatever you want to listen to with podcasts, whatever subject you want, however deep you want to get into that subject, you can find a podcast that will make you happy.
Yeah. Recently, I've seen many people. They're like you said, audiobook. They like to listen to the summary of the audiobook.
Yes.
So now time is very valuable.
It
you
is.
can just take it down and just listen to the book, the whole 500 pages book.
Absolutely, and so and also for nonfiction, if it's a management, management styles or lifestyles. Many people now are into wellness and mindfulness, right? These new terms we hear. And many people listen to those types of podcasts or audiobooks that really talk about mindfulness or that talk about this kind of, I think, the spirituality that many of us, many people around the world are looking for in this really busy time filled with all of these, electronic devices and all these messages and this kind of 24/7 lifestyle that we've crafted for ourselves.
Yeah, we all look for peace, actually.
We do, and there's a lot of peace in audiobooks. There's a lot of peace sitting in your car.
Yeah.
In the United States, there's a lot of freedom. Freedom is associated with getting in your car. Whenever you want to go, you just grab your car and you go.
Okay, that's very great. And as a part of you have done a lot of activities, but as a part, I heard that you have got a tech camp recently under the U.S. Embassy for the journalists. So what are your focuses about it? What you want to teach them or what you want them to learn?
No, that's a great question. We're very proud of this. This is the first time we're doing this. In Bangladesh, although we've done it in many, many, many countries. And it really turns training on its end because we take a problem set. And so the problem set here is misinformation, fact-checking, media literacy. In today's world, it's so difficult sometimes to know what is fact and what is fiction, what is fact and what is opinion.
Yes.
And it's very difficult sometimes for journalists to sort that out, as well as gossip, rumor, and innuendo, sometimes making their way into this kind of reporting. And so we've brought in world-class experts who have different technological solutions to these. They present their solutions to the participants, and the participants choose them. And then they have a training for about a day and a half, and then they come up with a solution. And it's not only the fact that we're doing this training, but we're putting our money behind it. Because the folks that have the best proposals will get money to implement their proposal. And so that way, it's a way to pay it forward. It's a way to also back up the training and really establish real-world practicality between these ideas that really focus on a technological solution provided by these world-class experts.
So what do you think about the responses? What's the view of the journalists who are taking the trainings?
We're starting it tonight, so I think we'll see. I think from my experience, and I've done many tech camps all over the world, people are really fascinated by not only by the camp itself and what they learn, but the experts they meet, and also putting their mind to a solution in a different way, an innovative way, in a creative way. And I think that adds a lot of substance to their own knowledge, because at the end of the day, what is really amazing about training is that once you leave that training, you take that knowledge with you. And so we're really happy to arrange that. We're really happy to impart that training to these journalists. They're young journalists, and so they could be the next star reporters for the country. And so we want to give them the tools to be able to do their job to the best of their ability.
Yeah, that's nice. So Tech Camp is actually the first initiative for the journalists from the U.S. Embassy.
The first,
and I wish all the best to them. And along with that, the U.S. Embassy done a lot of other activities as well. But what I noticed last year that 14,000 students had gone to the U.S. to study. So I would like to know that what do you think about the interest, or why the U.S. is more keen to take Bangladeshi students to the U.S.?
Well, and it's also, I think, Bangladeshi students wanting to study in the United States.
Both way, vice versa.
Right? So over the past decade, it's a very interesting trend. We've seen the number of Bangladeshi students triple. So it's now at about 13,000, as you said, 533, almost 14,000 students. I think it's a number of reasons. One is, I think people realize that American universities offer a world-class education. But it's not only the quality of education that attracts these students. When you go to a university in the United States, you're entering a community. And in that community are all kinds of things that multicultured, it's very inclusive. If you are interested in medieval art, there's a club for that. If you're interested in bowling, there's a club for that. There are fitness centers, there's discussions, there's lectures, there's guest speakers, there's concerts, there's so many things that really help you kind of open your mind and really think about all these different issues. Not only that, but also the discussions you have with your professors, the debates you have with the students, and it's a safe place. It's a safe place. There are so many different opinions. All of those opinions are respected. And I think it also teaches students to critically think about issues. And that is a skill that you take with you for your life. The way you look at a problem, the way you analyze the problem, the way you think about, well, you know, how do I get more facts about this, or how do I really understand this problem? Universities teach all of this, and that's why I think it really attracts, you know, American students. We also are really eager and keen to connect American universities, you know, with students, and so we have Education USA centers all over Bangladesh. There's one at the EMK Center, which is in Gulshan, on Gulshan Avenue.
They have opened a new one, I think, in
Yes,
Gulshan.
and it's a big one. And so they do a lot of advising. We do advising right here, right across from where you're sitting, at the American Center. And then we also do it in other areas of our American spaces. And you can find all this information on our U.S. Embassy website. We also have an Education USA Facebook site as well. And so we really try to give students the information. And by the way, all this information is FREE. Free information about American universities. And this is very important because a lot of people out there, a lot of organizations, a lot of companies out there charge money for free stuff. So please don't be fooled. You know, don't be fooled, guys. Get the free information, educationusa.org, and you'll get that information. And that's really important because we want students to be able to have the right information, to be able to apply to those American universities, and there's scholarship money as well. So undergraduates, it is a good incentive. And so it's really, you know, we find when students come back from the United States, whether it's from a university or one of our many exchange programs, we send over 150 Bangladeshis to the United States per year. On different exchange programs, whether it's Fulbright or the SUSI program or the U-Grad program. All this information, again, is available on our website. But when they come back, they are different people because these experiences are life-changing. They're life-changing. It changes the whole direction, the whole trajectory of their life. And that is one of the most satisfying things that I certainly see in my job, in my career, is seeing that transformation. These of people who may go to the U.S. as kind of skeptical or quiet or very engaged, and they come back and they want to really do good for their communities.
It's easy to mold them because it's such a country that will allow you to say whatever you want to do, like the things, whatever you want to learn. So from Stephen, we have learned that learning is not actually from the books. You have to learn from the outside, from the environment, from the life experience, from the culture as well. Yes. So Stephen, my next question will be, you have done very recent developments in Bangladesh, and what do you think about the political and financial issues impacting US-Bangladesh ties?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Afreen, and I think, look, if you look at the relationship, what country is the #1 foreign direct investor in Bangladesh?
US.
The United States.
Yep.
What is the #1 destination for Bangladeshi goods and services? The United States.
Okay.
And so I think that's a testament to the relationship. Also, I think it's very important to realize that there are over 200,000 Bangladeshi Americans. And so that live in the United States, that are American citizens. They, of course, are very interested in Bangladesh. They're very interested in the success of Bangladesh. So our people-to-people ties, our investments in the country, I think, are really mutually beneficial to both countries. And so, we would love to see direct flights one day from Dhaka to New York, or Dhaka to Washington, or Dhaka to LA, of course, in a Boeing plane.
But I think there's direct flights to New York from Dhaka, no?
No, there aren't at present.
Okay.
But we're working on it, and we're working on it with the Bangladeshi government, because of course we want to see development. We want to see Bangladesh succeed as well. And we want the Bangladeshi people, to succeed. So we work on many of those things. We work on labor rights. We're a very big investor in the health industry. Health is very important to Bangladeshis, and so we advise the Ministry of Health on dengue, on Nipah. So don't drink raw palm juice or date palm juice. Don't drink it because it carries a virus.
Nipah virus, the recent one.
Yeah, exactly. So, we do all kinds of things with that. We partnered with Google, for example, to provide information on the dengue virus that really informed people about what they could do to prevent dengue. On one of the roofs over here, we actually have an air quality monitor. And so we inform the people of Bangladesh about the air quality, that they're breathing every day. And we're working on that as well. As you know, Bangladesh is the 7th most vulnerable country to climate change in the world. 7.
And yesterday it was in Bangladesh, it was the worst day to breathe. I think the marker gone very up.
Yeah, no, I think one of the days was over 500, and I think the scale stops at 500, which means they broke the scale. But I think, we work on all of those issues.
Yeah.
We have very committed diplomats. We have a very committed staff here who work on improving the lives of Bangladeshis every single day.
Yep.
That's what I do. That's what my colleagues do. That's what Americans do. That's what our local staff does. This is what we do. We are trying to connect the United States and Bangladesh. We are trying to improve the lives of all the people of Bangladesh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, very nice of you. We are very thankful to you for offering us so many things that actually Bangladeshi people are looking forward to. So apart from that, I would like to know actually, as you are in Bangladesh and you just came few months back, but there are many events coming up, like the Spring Festival is in this month. And there is like Pohela Boishakh, the first day of Bangladeshi months. You are going to experience that. So do you have any idea about the Bangladeshi cultures, like the celebrations, like the festivals?
Sure. I mean, a bit. We've traveled a bit. I've been to Rajahi. I've been to Chattogram. I'm planning a trip to Sylhet. We've been to Durga Puja, for example. And then this weekend was just Ishtema as well.
There was Shakrine as well, the kite festival.
Absolutely, the kite festival that happened in downtown.
Yeah.
I've been to Lalbagh a couple of times. We actually have a project there. We restored the hammam at Lalbagh.
Oh, really?
So when you go to that, there's those 3 kind of monuments. There's the shrine, there's the mosque, and then there's the hammam.
Yeah.
the hammam was fully restored with the help of the United States.
So it will be open for public?
It's been open for a few years now.
Oh, really?
So it's fully restored. They actually found a secret staircase inside when they were doing the renovation. They opened it up. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. Lalbagh is beautiful. And so this is through a fund that we call the Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservation. We've done 12 projects in Bangladesh over the last 10 years, almost $1 million, just on cultural preservation. And this is another area where we are trying to partner with the people of Bangladesh in order to preserve Bangladeshi culture, Bangladeshi heritage, and Bangladeshi language.
Yeah, you are more updated about the updates of Bangladesh more than me, so I'm very honored about that.
You're very kind.
Yeah. So, you know, this is the 21st of February. It's a National Language Day of Bangladesh.
Sure.
So, have you heard about it, and what do you think about it, that we fought for the country just for the language? So how does it feel as a foreigner, as a person from the U.S.? How does it feel?
Well, you know, I think we have a lot of shared values. You know, the people of Bangladesh, the people of the United States have many shared values. And one of them is this fight for independence, right? Both of our countries fought for independence. We fought wars, you know, for independence. And it's very interesting because, you know, after liberation, the United States funded about $103 million for all of the Bangladeshi refugees in India, for example. And so there was support for the government, for Bangladesh right after, you know, liberation, and that continued. I talked about our professional exchanges. Do you know who one of our first professional exchange participant was?
Bangladesh?
It was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the nation. He went to the United States on an exchange program. So he is one of our earliest program alumni. And why do I say that? It's because to show that we have been investing in Bangladesh for a very, very long time. Not even, you know, even before liberation, even before the 70s. And so it's really wonderful to see, you know, folks that were in the States 10 years ago or 15 years ago who are now ministers or who are now heads of companies who really benefited from that experience in the United States. And so there are many, many, many shared values. And so I think that really resonates between the people of Bangladesh and the people of the United States.
Oh, very nice. So everyone, you are listening to Radio Today FM 89.6 and also watching us on the same platform. And I have with me Mr. Stephen Ibelli, Public Affairs Counselor, U.S. Embassy, Dhaka, Bangladesh. I'm very grateful and honored to sit with him and having exchanged our thoughts. So I would like to ask you my last question. That will be, do you have any suggestion for the radio listeners and who actually listens to radio on the go or actually likes to listens to radio? Do you have any suggestions that how can we improve ourselves and what the listeners should do to for this improvement as well?
Well, that's a great question, Afreen. I mean, nothing really comes to mind, but you know, I think radio, you know, getting back to your first question, you know, radio is very, very important. So, you know, keep listening in your car. I know Americans will. And so I am sure one day, you know, satellite radio will probably also be here in Bangladesh to a very, very big extent. You know, people now listen to podcasts already. People do all of these things. So really do what makes you happy. You know, whether that's listening to radio or listening to a podcast, life is too short. So do things that make you happy.
Just to add that, actually our radio, you can actually, it's internet radio, you can listen to it from anywhere in the world if you have that internet connection. And we are very, very proud about it actually, because we are trying to go with the flow. We are trying to update ourselves and try to serve the people in a very positive way, not only making them listen to the music. We also talk about politics, we also talk about the health issues and other things. And I'm Afreen Ahmed here today and having a very nice interview session. I would say it's a talk session.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
conversation.
It's a conversation.
A conversation, yeah.
Very informal one, and I have got a very good insights from you, very many things that I have learned from you which I didn't know. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time, and for everyone who is behind the camera as well, who is behind this program. I thank everyone. Thanks to the listeners and thanks to the viewers for being with us.
Thanks, Afreen. It was a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you. Bye.
Radio Today.